What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the Ming and Moto Show. So, I know I made a video a while back talking about having extra parts and stuff for your bikes, whatever. I'm going to show you what kinds of parts that you should have on hand and what you should do with some of your old parts that you pull off your bike. So as you see, I have a brand new rear sprocket here. I have a brand new seat cover there. I have a brand new tire sitting over there. I have extra spoke wraps. Now I know not everyone has spoke wraps, but if you do have spoke wraps, you should always have extras, just because some of them are gonna fade, they're gonna crack, some of them are gonna fly off. I have 3 quarts of engine oil right here. 1, 2, 3. There's 2 quarts of 2-stroke oil right here. I have another one up here on this dresser that I use as a desk. A quart of 2-stroke oil and engine oil. I also have another spark plug up there as well. And then I have 3 more spark plugs right here in this bag. Y'all know I put the Luxon handlebar mounts on my bike. So what you should do with your old parts is like this. See, I have my old handlebar mounts right here, and then I have some extra hardware in here from like my IMS gas tank that I bought, and I also have some Motul chain cleaner here. Now, as you know, I went from a 1.75 gallon gas tank on my dirt bike, which was the stock gas tank, and I went to an IMS 3.5 gallon gas tank. So I gained twice. I now have twice the amount of gas on my bike. What I did was I kept the stock gas tank. Why? Because if I wreck my bike or drop my bike just going around the corner or something, and something like I puncture my gas tank on my bike, I can take my IMS gas tank off and put the stock one back on and use it until I buy another 3.5 gallon tank. So that's why you always should have a spare gas tank for your bike, no matter what kind of bike you have. Sport bike, dual sport, dirt bike, cruiser, Harley, adventure bike, whatever. I also did replace the front fender, the rear fender, the fork guards, the shrouds with white Achuris plastics. Now I saved my stock plastics, or what a lot of sport guy fairings, right? So you should always have a spare set of fairings for your bike, whether it's stock fairings or aftermarket, just so then that way if you wreck your bike or you drop it or get scratched, dented, whatever, you can pull the fairings off your bike and put the new ones on, or the backup ones on, until you can afford to get the damaged ones either fixed or replaced. I'm going to be replacing my tire here soon with this rear tire here, but you should always have one rear tire and one front tire for your bikes. Now, my mistake is I don't have any inner tubes stocked up right now, which is my mistake. I should have some like at least one front and one rear inner tube, which I don't have, which is my fault. You should always have at least 3 to 4 quarts of engine oil and 2 to 4 engine 2-stroke quarts of 2-stroke oil if you ride a 2-stroke. I say that because you can replace if you have 4 quarts of engine oil, okay, and you replace, you change your oil however often you gotta do it, you can get, if you have 4 quarts like I do, I can get 5 oil changes out of 4 quarts, right? So by the time I have 1.5 quarts left, I will go buy more if I need to, right? whatever. Now, when I replace my stock rear sprocket off of my bike, I will keep the old sprocket off my bike to have as an emergency backup just in case. Or if I ever get the chance to get a second rear tire for my bike, or rear, if I get the chance to have a second back wheel for my bike, let's say to have a paddle tire on it for going to sand dunes, and I have my stock sprocket that I'm about to swap out with this one, I can put my stock sprocket that I have on my bike now onto the second wheel, because I won't be using it that often. And if I have, because I'll have a paddle tire on it, which has like anywhere from 6 to 10 scoops on it, right, for riding the sand. So it won't matter if it's slightly worn out, because I won't be using it that often except for at sand dunes like in Glamis. So that's why you always want to keep extra sprockets and chains. I have the stock chain that came off my bike, just so that way if I need some extra links, I can use it. Or if the chain that I have on my bike now snaps, I have my old chain to throw on there, you know, or whatever, you know, I can snag the master link off my old chain and whatever. Now, things like this, when I replace this seat cover, I'm going to throw this one away, and I'm just going to put this one on there. When I put this one on here, you just, you know, your seat covers, just throw them away. There's no point in keeping them, really, because, you know, they're, like I said, $55 for the actual seat cover, and a couple of bucks to get it replaced. So it's cheap, and you don't need to save, you know, your old seat covers. Now, spark plugs, these for my bike are $15 fucking a piece for one, okay? And I have 4 of them. So, and every time there's these 3, and I have one more up here on top of this dresser here. Now, I have 3 of them that are used, and I have a brand new one on my bike. I have these 3, and I have one more up here. Spark plugs, you can rebuild spark plugs if you want. It's just kind of a pain in the ass to do it, and you're gonna be spending half the money, you know. So these are like $15. If you want to rebuild it, you're gonna be spending like $8 to $10 for a rebuild kit, like $5 to $7 or so for a rebuild kit. But you're gonna be spending about half an hour to rebuild one spark plug, and at that point it ain't worth it, at least in my opinion. Unless if I was just some old retired guy and I had nothing better to do and I wanted something to do just for the hell of it, then I would do it. But your best bet is just, when you replace your spark plugs, throw them away into the recycling bin, or save them up to make some artwork with them. And hell, if you really wanted to, you could you know, you could do some type of artwork with your old spark plugs, old sprockets, old chains, whatever, you know. Unfortunately, I don't have enough space in this room, because this is kind of a storage room where I'm keeping tools, okay? And that's why I don't have my stock gas tank and my stock plastics in here, because I don't have any room here. But or I don't have any space in here, because this room's already taken up by a lot of shit, because I'm using this room as a storage room basically for some shit. And it's also where I take naps at too sometimes. That's why I have a bed in here too. But still, you know, I'll hang out in here just to work on, you know, do some drawing, you know, sketchbook, or do some riding, doing some reading, you know, store my spare parts for my bikes, whatever, you know. This is just basically my room to fuck around in and do stupid shit like this with, but whatever. Yeah, so when it comes to your car and your truck or your motorcycle, whatever, you should always have spare tires, spark plugs, chains and sprockets, engine oil. If you ride two strokes, you should have extras of two-stroke oil. Old parts that you pull off, like your chains and your sprockets, keep them as an emergency. Bar mounts, plastics, gas tanks, you know, shocks and forks, should definitely keep them, no matter if you replaced them or not. Just keep them, because you never know, there might be that one day where something gets damaged or broken and you need to replace it, but you can't afford to replace it right then and there. So, but you still want to ride, so you can put your used stock parts back on, still be able to go ride and enjoy your bike while you're waiting to buy new parts for your bike. So that's just me. Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. Love y'all. Be safe. Catch you on the flip side.